Hey everybody, Joshua Hanlon here, and today I'm at the Indianapolis Zoo with Carla Knapp, and Carla is going to tell us a little bit about the new Lego exhibit by Sean Kenney called Nature Connects, Art with Lego Bricks. So Carla, if you just want to give us an overview of the exhibit and some of the models that are in it.
Yeah, absolutely. We have 12 sculptures all created by Sean Kenney. He's a New York-based artist. He is absolutely spectacular and has a really wonderful message to offer us with the Nature Connects exhibit. And it's all about animal conservation and connecting our community with the stories behind these amazing sculptures. Several of the species that we have featured in the Nature Connects exhibit are also species that you can find over in our zoo. The Monarch butterfly that is behind me was built using more than 39,000 different Lego pieces. And it's a really cool sculpture to really start off the exhibit. It's very colorful. And it's also a great conservation message. Monarch butterflies are a native species here in Indiana. And we really want to help the community learn how they can preserve this wonderful species in their own backyard.
Here we are at the jeweled chameleon sculpture, and this sculpture has over 49,000 Lego bricks and took 511 hours to build. And with this sculpture, it's neat because you not only have the jeweled chameleon, but also Sean built the tree branches out of Lego as well. So the branch that goes all the way down to the ground there is built out of Lego. So the entire thing is brick built and really makes for a neat sculpture. And also the colors on the chameleon are really awesome. The way you use the greens, blues, oranges, and blacks all blended together really nicely to give that iconic chameleon look.
This is a unique sculpture because it is the only one in the Nature Connects collection that actually features an extinct species. The Dodo Bird was native to the island of Mauritius, and it went extinct in the 1600s. So this very impressive sculpture that you see behind me, which is about 8 feet tall, features the Dodo Bird on top of a black pillar. The pillar depicts the population of the bird from the time when the island of Mauritius was first settled till the bird went extinct in the 1600s. And you can see from the dates that are noted on the sculpture that it's not a really long time. So it's just a really important story to tell about the importance of animal conservation and being able to preserve these incredible species. He really wanted it to look like a memorial. A lot of the sculptures that are in the exhibit, they reflect very natural movements of these animals, but this one is more of a memorial, and it is to symbolize that this species is gone from our planet, and we really need to work hard in order to preserve them so we don't have other species that are going extinct like the dodo bird. He does have a process that he uses to help the Lego pieces adhere to one another so that they don't just crumble. But all of the pieces, all the sculptures that are part of the exhibit are treated and ready to go. They will weather the elements out here for the season. This is the largest sculpture that is currently in Sean Kenney's Nature Connects collection. The polar bear has more than 133,000 pieces in it and weighs 625 pounds. So it is quite impressive.
Wow, yeah, that's amazing. And I noticed, there's so many white bricks here. Have you noticed at all, or has Sean mentioned that those will show more wear than maybe some of the darker bricks? You might notice more of the nature effect on those?
Well, we might, as the exhibit goes on, we might see a little bit more weatheration, coloration happening naturally with this sculpture. But you know what? That would be something that's completely reflective of polar bears. Their fur is naturally clear. And so it does actually pick up and reflect some of the natural surroundings that it walks through in the Arctic. We've seen lots of kids here. It's really cute because it has all of the cubs surrounding mom. It's very impressive because it is a life-size polar bear, and it's in a really great location here in the garden, so it's one of the first sculptures that you're going to find. It's just so cool.
Behind me here is the disappearing rhino, so if you can tell us a little bit more about this unique sculpture here in the gardens.
Absolutely. So behind us we have, like you said, the disappearing rhino. We look at it from one perspective, and it does appear to be a complete piece. It is a life-size sculpture, but as you walk around, you begin to realize that the sculpture appears to be disappearing. And it's a very important conservation story for us because that reflects what the species is going through in the wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is really unique, and it looks like, how did he get the different sections held together there for this sculpture?
Well, this piece really does reflect the internal structure that is contained inside of each sculpture. So each piece has a series of plates and rods that help support the piece, hold it together, provide balance, and this piece really shows it off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very neat. And I think, like you said, it is a unique way to show that the conservation efforts of this whole exhibit that it's trying to spread. So thanks for telling us about it. Appreciate it. So here we have the baby sea turtle hatching, and this build has over 57,000 Lego bricks in it, and it took Sean over 482 hours to build this. And this is really cool because it's kind of in the middle of one of their ponds here, so you get kind of that unique landscape around it. And then Sean used the kind of nice sandy looking tan bricks at the bottom to give the beach effect with the black and white turtle at the top. Really neat sculpture. And then also the blue kind of glass shards at the bottom there kind of give the water effect as well.
This is a really impressive piece. The Hummingbird behind me has an 8-foot wingspan, and this sculpture I think really shows off that some of them kind of appear to defy gravity. And it's really remarkable how Sean was able to do that. He has an internal structure that is inside of each sculpture, but the rest of it really is just Lego bricks. So that internal skeleton can support all of the weight that's on top of it and really helps the Hummingbird to just defy gravity. This is a really well-designed piece. He actually does all the design work by hand, which is really remarkable. And believe it or not, the piece holds up very, very well. But yeah, it is anchored also very well so that it's not going anywhere. It's going to stand up for the whole season.
We're here at the zebra and wildebeest sculptures, and if you want to tell us a little bit about these sculptures.
Absolutely. So again, these are life-size sculptures. So you can come here, see the zebra and the wildebeest that are made out of Lego bricks, and then you can go into our zoo and see the real-life species that we have over there as well.
Okay, very neat. And if you notice here, you've got the wildebeest is eating some grass and stuff here. So if you want to talk about kind of the environment around each of the sculptures?
Absolutely. So we have a wonderful horticulture staff here at the zoo that custom designed each of the gardens that these sculptures are sitting in to reflect the environment that the species would see in its natural habitat. So here behind me we have some prairie grasses. In some of the other exhibits you'll see, nectar flowers or pollen flowers or other design elements that are very reflective of the environment that the species would be in the wild.
Mm-hmm. And you notice here, you've paired a couple of these sculptures together. How did you decide to do that? Is that just because, you see them in the wild a lot together?
Absolutely. These are species that you would find, maybe grazing near one another on the plains in Africa. And so it makes a whole lot of sense to have them here together. This one really shows off all of the colors that are in the Lego brick collection. So very, very colorful. It's also a really big sculpture. It uses more than 88,000 different bricks, which is very impressive. And another thing that's really impressive in it is the detail work that is in the coral reef that you see and in the details of the seahorses themselves.
Right, so you've got the different colors, kind of the orange, the red, the pinks, and everything that give that iconic coral look of the different really bright kind of ocean colors that you can see in coral there. So that's really cool. And then, yeah, the seahorse. Does the zoo here have any seahorses?
Yeah, we sure do. So if you go over to our oceans exhibit, you can see some very similar, obviously a whole lot smaller in our oceans building, but some very similar reef exhibits.
Okay, very neat. Thank you. In the pond next to us, we have the whooping crane here, and this is a really neat sculpture. So if you want to tell us some more about this one.
Certainly. So it's a beautiful sculpture that shows a mother whooping crane, and she is protecting her nest. But if you look really closely in the details of this sculpture, you're going to notice that in the sand, there are several little white dots. And each white dot represents an individual whooping crane that was at the time the collective population of whooping cranes left in the wild when Sean built this sculpture. So if you notice, there's really not a lot of white dots in there, and that indicates that there's not a lot of whooping cranes left in the wild. So again, just really reinforcing the importance of animal conservation with this sculpture and with the collection.
And something really neat about this one is the way he kind of made the nest and the eggs there as well. So I think that's kind of cool. Again, kind of the conservation and trying to protect the newborn whooping cranes and everything like that. And then you also kind of merge the real branches with the Lego nest there. I think that's neat.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, our horticulture staff was really thoughtful whenever they planned out this sculpture, as well as all of the sculptures, to present it in an environment that would reflect the species' natural habitat. Snow leopards are a very cool species. They are known to be very stealthy cats. And so we wanted an environment that would reflect that for this sculpture. You kind of see him, it appears that he's almost kind of sneaking up behind you, and a lot of people don't even realize he's there until you walk up, and it's almost like he pops up on top of you. This sculpture is another life-size sculpture, and it includes 63,000 different Lego bricks in there.
That's awesome. And yeah, like you said, the way he poised it is really neat. And then are these plants themed with something that you would find in the wild with this type of animal?
Well, with this one, it's actually highlighting the rock work that is in this exhibit. A snow leopard is native to the mountains. They live very high up in the mountains in the Himalayas. And so we're looking at rocks and not a whole lot of plant life that high, but again, a very cool location for this cat to kind of be hidden amongst the trees and the rocks here. This exhibit is with us through Labor Day, and we have all of the details on our website, indianapoliszoo.com.